No.
No, it's not. You are not a senator.
Okay. My father.
Our invited guests, my name is Joel.
Invited guests, my name is Ide.
Invited guests, my name is Abdul A. Lee.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished Baba Yido Hussein is
Of the Federal Republic, member of the public, and invited.
Company is here. Is there any other company that is here?
It is focused on deepening the penetration of natural gas utilization across the country. The essence is to encourage domestic utilization of Nigeria's abundant natural gas resources for domestic cooking, transportation, and industrial application. Following the inauguration of the National Gas Expansion Program by the Ministry in August 2020, in year 2020, it was the year of gas. But after that, we have the decade of gas. That's 2021 to 30. And so, after that inauguration, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in collaboration with the ministry, introduced the 250 billion intervention facility. The National Gas Expansion Program itself is being implemented in 3 ways. The way it is planned, we have the National Gas Expansion Program Committee, and that committee goes about sensitizing people on what to do, on the availability of gas we have, the gas available, and the prospects. Both companies, gas companies, manufacturers, producers, they are also linked up on how to make the best use of the gas available. And the committee has done a lot. They have many achievements to their credit. Aside that committee, we also have the waiver scheme. For this one, the federal government allows, for the purpose of encouraging the gas manufacturers and others in the value chain, there is this waiver when they are importing products that are gas allied. As an incentive, there is a waiver. So that is also part of the National Gas Expansion Program. And for that loan itself, the objective of the loan is to have improved access to finance for private sector investment in the domestic gas value chain. It's also to stimulate investment in the development of infrastructure to optimize the domestic gas resources for national economic development. The objective also includes fast-tracking the adoption of CNG, compressed natural gas, as the fuel of choice for transportation and power generation, as well as LPG as the fuel of choice for domestic cooking, transportation, and captive power. It's also to fast-track the development of gas-based industries such as petrochemical, fertilizer, methanol, and so on. And it's also to help in creation of job opportunities across the country. For this intervention scheme, the eligible activities under the program include establishment of gas processing plants and small-scale petrochemical plants, gas cylinder manufacturing plants, LNG regasification modular systems, auto gas conversion kits and components manufacturing plants, as well as CNG compression stations. It also includes establishment and manufacturing of LPG retail skid tanks and refilling equipment. We have the establishment and expansion of micro distribution outlets and service centers for LPG sales, domestic cylinder injection and exchange, development of auto gas transportation system, conversion and distribution infrastructure, including any other mid to downstream gas value chain activity recommended by the ministry. And there are key responsibilities for the stakeholders. The stakeholders are the ministry, central bank, and the participating banks. The ministry receives and endorses project proposals for financing under the intervention, the ministry ensures that there is due diligence taken to ascertain the economic impact and commercial viability of proposed projects. The ministry also partners with the CBN and participating bank in monitoring the project till full repayment, and we comply with the provisions of the guidelines. That's for the ministry. For the CBN is to provide the funding for the intervention facility, to release funds to commercial banks for disbursement to approve financing requests, carry out periodic verification and monitoring of projects financed, provide periodic reports to the CBN management on the performance of the intervention facility, and also ensure compliance with the provision of the guideline. The CBN is also to review the guidelines as may be necessary from time to time. The third stakeholder, the participating banks, they are to appraise and approve requests under the facility based on normal business consideration and due diligence. They are also to forward such approved requests to CBN for verification and final approval. The participating banks are to monitor finance projects and render periodic returns as may be specified by the CBN from time to time. They are to ensure repayment of facilities by obligors and comply with the guidelines of the facility. The fourth stakeholder here are the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries shall adhere strictly to the terms and conditions of the facility. They are to ensure prudent utilization of facility for the purpose for which it was granted. They are to keep up-to-date records of the enterprise's activities under the intervention. They are to allow access to the project and records by the CBN and the participating banks. They are to repay the facility in accordance with the approved repayment schedule and comply with the provisions of the guidelines. The current status of the program from the end of the ministry is that since the beginning of the program, since it started, the ministry received lots of applications. In fact, we received about 150 applications. We have the list, and due diligence was done. We also have about 69 names companies recommended. Let me just give a highlight of the activities. There were meetings between the ministry, interested companies, and the representatives of Central Bank of Nigeria. Like I said, 150 applications were received, 69 companies were pre-qualified, and presently, or as at the last time we sent, 16 applications were being processed. The pre-qualified companies were recommended to CBN, and they were issued letter to proceed to their commercial banks for further processes. Feedback from the applicants that applied through the ministry revealed that none of them was able to access the loan. In a meeting of the applicants with the ministry, that was on January 20th this year, they stated that the major barriers to accessing the loan included the policy framework of the intervention program. That is the burden of the loan being on commercial banks. And this made it difficult to access the loan as commercial banks put up stringent measures on the loan. Then the request for huge collateral by the commercial bank was also considered exorbitant. And for the ministry and CBN representatives met to see how to go about implementing the program. The ministry and CBN agreed to have a stakeholders engagement workshop with all applicants to iron out all gray areas and find a way forward. The meeting was held in May this year. But as at now, the ministry wishes to state that the names of the companies that received the intervention loan, as compiled by the Senate Committee on Gas, were not processed by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. But the CBN told us when we had meetings with them that few people were able to access the loan, when we complained that many had not accessed it. Few companies. That was what was said. Yes, sir. That's my submission, sir.
Project facility that can be assessed by all and sundry. But the fact here, sir, is that CBN tried to stimulate finance to this sector economy through the commercial banks. So whatever name we call it, the primary responsibility is the responsibility of the bank because they bear 100% the credit risk. So what it means here, sir, distinguished senators, is that at the end of the day, if we send a proposal or a project to the PFI, that's the banks, they will have to subject that proposal to due diligence, whether it meets their requirement in terms of risk acceptance criteria, whether the obligors have the capacity and the wherewithal to be able to, and the experience to execute the project. The situation whereby maybe a project, I'm just speaking generally, was never involved in any gas project, and we apply for 10 billion naira without any experience. Certainly that kind of project will never sail through the banks, because the banks know their responsibility, the credit risk at the end of the day is their own responsibility. So you have to subject that proposal to due diligence and ensure that this is met before they approve. In addition, before even this intervention was muted, the central bank was supporting the gas sector, knowing fully well that the Nigerian gas sector, Nigeria in fact is a gas country, but the potential is not fully tapped. So we have been even intervening in the gas sector prior to the intervention prior to the gas project. So we continued along that line. So what CBN normally brings to the table, as far as intervention generally are concerned, the single-digit interest rate and fairly long-term tenors, because the deposit portfolios of commercial banks may not allow them to give long-term deposits, long-term loans, and also they may not be able to give single digits. They normally charge commercial rates. The banks are verified and are comfortable with the project. In fact, some of them have started paying to allude to the fact that the projects are viable. So the other projects that were supposed to come from the ministry, when we had meetings, we said, okay, let them send it to the commercial banks. Let the commercial banks review it. If they are comfortable with all the risk assessment criteria and their due diligence and approved by their management, they will send us, because like I said, for emphasis, they bear the credit risk. So generally, support single-digit interest rate and fairly long term. So if a project promoter applies and through his commercial bank and he's not able to meet, but if there is a case where maybe the commercial bank tries to charge them more than 9%, that one will be the CBN will sanction that the bank. And the tenure for most of these facilities is 7-10 years to make it comfortable for them to be able to, for the project to take off. But by and large, this is the summary of what we have done. We have been 135 across the value chain in the gas sector generally, even before the intervention, the National Gas Expansion Project came on. And the request, like the ministry saying, the project was verified by them, and we asked them to send to the commercial banks, which we did. Maybe they did not meet the requirements, the risk acceptance criteria of the project. Because at the end of the day, these are depositors' money that have been lent. So it doesn't pay come back, it means the financial systems are going to be at risk. And we have systemic risk in the whole economy. So by and large, these are distinguished chairman and members of the Senate committee. Our role is and will continue to be facilitate financing, stimulate financing for this sector, which will impact positively on the economy. On that note, sir, I will close with me. I have my colleagues. With me, I have some of my colleagues engaging with the ministry and also engaging with the banks. So that was I would like to make a pause and thank you for listening to me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
companies that enjoy 130 billion intervention today, you don't have concluded proposal for the accessing the bill. That's one. And I'm happy you confirm that. Central Bank, it is not the case that you don't do anything about it, because before a commercial bank can give a facility in which is involving you, it means you are reimbursing the commercial bank, since commercial bank provide guarantee to you. Because if 130 something billion is to disappear from the commercial bank balance sheet, it will be very terrible. I know much about the. Please, you are disturbing us. Please, can you calm down a bit? Now, the point I'm making is that if central bank have no business with this, then you could have allowed the commercial bank to do their risk assessment, give the credits. You already know the interest rates. It's no longer your business. You wouldn't have been with them at all. So you can't say that central bank didn't know anything about it. They didn't have any much role to play. The risk big, yes. You don't assess the risk because you are not commercial. If I apply for loan, you are not to assess me. It's my commercial bank that will assess me. But you give a comfort line to the commercial bank in doing so, because it's an intervention fund. Now, lastly, I also want to say clearly that is this intervention meant for gas or is for petroleum products? Such a way that we don't know what it's meant for. Because from the sheet of central bank I can see here, and from that presentation, this is central bank intervention on gas projects. Gas. Now, is it for petroleum? Because I don't want to mention anybody's name, but in this sheet also, we have people who assess this for petroleum. Refinery, not for gas. Is this for gas? So that we can start to separate, or we can see maybe you grant exceptional circumstances under which, although this intervention is for gas, but you have decided to grant it for petroleum. We also want to know. This committee wouldn't have been able to invite all of you here if not from the what Madam was saying, to confirm the reason why we must have you here. So, is it for gas or is it for petroleum? Lastly, Delta State government is not here, but it's on the cover. This committee has power to recommend to the Nigerian Federation to deduct that money, 20 billion, collected by Delta. If they don't provide evidence that they use for gas from the federation accounts, that is the easiest way to recover the fund, so that it cannot be anything at all. I will say this. I just made this a preliminary statement. One, that Madam said they don't have input for whatever law is born. Secondly, that it is not the case that central bank play no role at all. And thirdly, this is an intervention for gas. Is it for gas or is for gas, petroleum and allied matters, so that we will be able to know where to direct our inquiry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your time. My colleagues.
Numbers are going to give, it's a single digit. If we are allowed the commercial bank to go on their own, that means they'll be charging this project at 20, 23, 24%, which is not going to be feasible. So our role, sir, is that we ensure it's 9% and fairly long term. So this is our role.
Thank you. Let me ask before you go. Last question. Now, the single obligor for this loan is for 10 billion. The single obligor for this loan is for 10 billion.
Under the gas, yes.
Under the gas intervention program.
Yes.
Because we have seen situation where you granted 20 billion.
That's what, sir.
You have seen where you granted 15. And single obligor is 10. Some people collected 15, some collected 20.
Right.
Okay. So if it is right, that's okay. That's all you have said is right. So that's fine. That's fine.
Just to clarify, like I said, we have been lending to gas sector before even the intervention came up. So it means some of this that you are seeing 15, they assess this gas sector to our banks under the CRR window, which we have continued even after the intervention program.
We know that that's not a problem. What I'm asking is that what is the single goal limit that you can assess? Or can you assess the whole central bank?
No, sir.
We say what is the single obligor limit? You say it's 10 billion.
It's 10 billion.
And then I'm saying from your own publication, some people got 15, some got 20. That one I'm asking, and you have clarified. If it's 10, then some people got 15, some got 20, some got 17, and it's 10 by your guidelines.
Resources. I'm horrified from the submission of Madam and from the submission of CBN. They seem to operate at cross purposes. You initiated the policy, the ministry initiated the policy. The CBN funded the policy. That's the implemented this special purpose vehicle. But you don't seem to have in your record the beneficiaries of the financing from the CBN and the commercial banks. I think this is not good enough for the intervention program. And I think the committee will take strong note of this and appropriate measures taken accordingly.
And Mr. Chairman, as a rider to what Senator Babangida said, listening to the director in charge of gas, Federal Minister of Petroleum Resources, one will recollect or recall reasonably that this is a project they have started, but this is a project that just started on paper, that they have no control whatsoever over, not only control, they don't even have a say. From the initial inception of this project, Madam, what qualifies a particular company to receive this assistance? What qualifies that company? Just you answer it. And CBN, you have also indicated that as far as you are concerned, it is the commercial bank that determines. And the catchword of this project is intervention. That means something out of the ordinary to do what? To assist. If you begin to now take everything, hook, line, and sinker to the commercial banks, then what assistance are you rendering to these companies that need assistance? And I think you have not been able to create that synergy between you and the ministry. The entire gamut of intention of this intervention is to make sure that gas-related companies actually benefit out of the very good intention of government through the CBN as a body, just like beneficiaries in agriculture and beneficiaries in other sectors of the Nigerian economy. I have not seen, looking at the list presented before us, 11, 11, so to speak, so far benefited from this scheme. And we have a population of almost 220 million, 250 or thereabouts. And only 11 to 12 companies benefiting. That does not give a very clear position as to why this intervention is necessary. So I'm sure by the time we receive input from the beneficiaries, we'll be able to find out where is actually the problem. Because largely from listening to you, to Madam, there's a basic fundamental problems on this particular scheme, and we need to rectify it.
Good afternoon once again. My question is to the beneficiaries. Do we have in attendance here any of the beneficiaries? Oh, you are here. Have we given any of them a chance to speak? Okay, eventually after this, okay. In that case, this question should be addressed to CBN. Haven't given the intervention funds, did you set up any mechanisms to monitor and evaluate the progress or the implementation, the usage of the funds? Is there any, or we just access the funds and that's it? Any mechanism in place to ensure that the funds are duly utilized and the desired impact is felt in Nigeria, that the gas industry actually grows? Straight up. To CBN, yes, if we can have that.
Just go down your questions. Just the questions.
Expect at worst annual reports of the facility, if not quarterly reports, where both CBN and the ministry are monitoring quarterly progress so as to confirm the success of the federal government's intervention. Thank you.
From what shows that there is no connection, there leaves a gap for evaluation of the companies, the amount disbursed to them. For some companies, in places where you are supposed to write on moratorium or amount paid, you left it blank. I want to know if that was deliberate. That's number one. Number two, when you say a loan is performing, what parameters have you used in the absence of any evaluation document that you have presented? What parameters have you used to say your loans are performing or not performing? In this case, I can see that almost all the loans that you've given out in this your list are performing. And I'm greatly concerned that for some loans that were given in 2021, where no repayment has been made absolutely, and not under moratorium, you are still saying that those loans are performing. I do not understand the basis for that. Then, I think, Mr.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Senator Ositanwu. I represent Enugu West. My comment is just going to be a follow-up to the I want to amend the motion. A further amendment to the motion that all the beneficiaries of this money should submit their utilization program for all the money they collected and the status of what they have been able to achieve with this money from the time and location, so that this will enable us to be able to assess and visit to see that it's properly used. I so move. I so second. Thank you.
Please. You can second the amendment.
The motion move that we need to know we proceed to see visibly. I second.
The beneficiaries of the loan provide the committee with the status of their various projects and their locations. For the locations, please, we would love to have those locations immediately. So that motion has been moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Those against. So the motion is carried, and we will do an on-the-spot assessment of the various projects. It is called Locus Cinco in Parliament. We will be there to look at what you have achieved with the funds, and if the funds were diverted, we'll do a publication of the names of the companies, and we will have no alternative but invite the anti-graft agencies to come into it, because the gas expansion program is for the masses. And we know that the government of the day is very serious about it. With the removal of subsidy, if we don't make gas available to our citizens, we'll be in trouble. So this should be followed, and followed diligently. I will yield the mic to Senator Ndubueze before I come back to Senator Joel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow colleagues. Chairman, I'm talking to you and to the colleagues. I think, first of all, one, we should make available note from the ministry for the intentions of the gas expansion fund that is buzzing. Two, it should make from CBN, we should have the details of the fund you released and the conditionalities attached. We should digest it properly so that we can flow when we're investigating. We should have comprehensive knowledge and data, and in order to speak like an informed people. Now, I'm not making, it's not issue of motion, but issue of statement of fact that the ministry should immediately forward us details that will help us understand what they are doing, because we are here to read, digest, and follow up. And the bank, CBN, should immediately give us their details. That will help us with what we intend doing. Okay, CBN, no, he only gave you the spreadsheet. They only gave you the spreadsheet. The other conditions or conditionalities are tied to that. We should have it, but I don't have the spreadsheet. We should have the spreadsheet and the conditionalities are attached. Now, the ministry themselves must give us. They initiated this program, right? Having initiated the program, give us what, all right. This is the CBN. Then I need the spreadsheet. Bring forth other senators here. So on the part of the ministry, you must immediately forward to us what you intend to achieve with this. And that helps the job very fast, so that we don't repeat ourselves. I invite you today, tomorrow, or be parading here and there. We should be precise. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, it will help us greatly to understand the basis for which these loans were granted to individuals. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I will crave your indulgence to request that the CBN and the participating banks should provide us the details of the procedure they went through to grant this loan to these individuals. What they provided to you, what the companies provided to the banks, the name of the banks provide those loans to them. Please, we're interested in that. Because some of the names I've seen here does not reflect directly that they are gas development companies or development agencies directly, so that we enable us to understand what has happened in the process of granting these loans, and whether the process of granting these loans were fair, thorough, and objective. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. In our publication, we asked for locations of the various projects. Please, we would like to have those locations presented to us, because we don't want to start looking for the companies or their representatives. So we will start with NIPCO. NIPCO is everywhere. We are aware of what you people are doing. I think they are the first company to embark on this gas revolution in terms of LPG and all of that across the country. But we want you to submit your locations to the clerk, because we will be going around. And 11 PLC, Height Energy, Lee Engineering, Clerk, please go around and collect the locations immediately. Get the locations from the various representatives. We want to see that done now, please. Let us, we don't have time, we'll soon allow everybody to go and do their businesses. Pinnacle Oil, please get to Pinnacle Oil.
And I'm happy to have my beautiful, distinguished Senator Hadiza here. I really appreciate what my distinguished senators have said before now. I noticed, I was taking notes. We drafted a letter from Pinnacle Oil and Gas. We are into petroleum downstream and midstream business, and we've not really ventured into gas. I like how Madam from Ministry of Petroleum made her presentation. But the point I wanted to make, my distinguished senator had already made that, showing that there is a disconnect from the ministry that's supposed to be stewarding this facility and CBN. I think the commercial banks need to be the first port of call in this instance, my distinguished senator, because our own loan, the facility we got from our commercial bank, we have our evidence of agreements we signed with them, did not mention Natural Gas Intervention Fund. We got a loan that had an 8-year tenor on differentiated cash reserve requirement regime, of which those commercial banks have with CBN, and they can call up some facilities and give to their customers. And on that basis, we had, maybe they did all their due diligence and granted this fund to Pinnacle, sir. So I think they need to really come and verify that. Maybe that's the case for some of the companies here. I wouldn't know, but I'm speaking on behalf of my company. Because if CBN is putting down our name, they have to show, just like my distinguished Senator Hadiza made a point, and sir made a point also, that we need to see the modalities. Before you give out the facility that the federal government is stewarding, there should be modalities, and the companies that they are giving to must meet the requirements. If they don't meet the requirements, they shouldn't have been given. So, and we did not go through the CBN, neither did we go through the Ministry of Petroleum to get the funds, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a document here submitted. Pinnacle is number 6. Your loan was from Fidelity Bank, and you got 10 billion. And then the purpose of the loan, and I read, listen attentively, to finance the completion of phase 2A of the company's oil and gas offshore intake and storage facility at the Lekki Free Trade Zone. You understand? There's a contradiction between your presentation and what is captured here from the CBN. And we are not just acting out of the blues. We have documents before us, and we didn't just come here to just speak to nothing. We are speaking to the documents before us. So please just furnish us with the location of your project, and when we come, we'll take it up from there. Yes, I want to collect the locations of all the projects before we carry on. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, based on the information we have, so having listened to the representative of the ministry and the CBN, I think what we ought to do quickly, so that people feel at home and align with our thinking, is that to call these companies one after the other and ask them prerequisite questions as to where are these locations. I've been sure the letter from our committee should have actually stipulated clearly what they are coming here to do, so that we don't take our time and then take their time and then the chairman can now ask, among other things, they have listened to you. So any company that is ready to submit what you indicate.
It's not open-ended. It's not open-ended. We need it today.
No.
We asked for it in the publication.
That's very important. That's very important. Since the companies are here, let them one after the other say they have or they have not, so that we go ahead. Those that brought their own, we can take them. We can ask questions. Those that don't have, the committee may decide to give them another time. So that,
English. So I think all the companies that we have mentioned have submitted. Pinnacle, please, Clark, your people should be up and doing now. Just get these things from them. Transit gas, please. Is transit gas here? Submitted. Okay. Amalgamated. Pick it up. Gas Nexus. Submitted. Okay. Lee Engineering. Submitted. Location. Okay. First Modular Gas Systems Limited. Okay. Nova Gas. Apex African Gas Nigeria Limited. MOB Integrated. Okay. So. On pieces of papers? Or on their, is it on their profile? Yeah. MOB, okay. Lee Engineering again. Okay. Greenville, submitted. MOB again. AP LPG Limited. Dangote Refinery. Dangote Oil and Refinery for the production of Dangote Refinery and petrochemical. This has nothing to do with gas. It has nothing to do with gas. So you will not have accessed this loan. The 5 billion given to Dangote was wrongly disbursed. MOB again. Delta State Government. Is Delta State Government here? Oh, you are here? Please, are you from Delta State? Okay, please.
Distinguished senators, is a misnomer. What Delta State government did to ensure gas utilization, which you know Delta State is oil-bearing state. So companies that are in oil and gas business, Delta State government do give them support. My name is Felix Okonti. I'm consultant to Delta State government on CBN interventions. Agri, any intervention of CBN. So that is why I came. But I'm versed with the transaction.
State government, the SSG in particular, and he has confirmed that Mr. Konji is here on their behalf. The information that I have is that the state government guaranteed a facility for a company in this sector. The gentleman has all the information and the documents to do with this. Yes, so there's really no problem for him to speak for the state government, you know. But as far as the 20 billion is concerned, I can tell you immediately that this money did not go to Delta State as a company, as a state. It went to Delta State guaranteed the facility for a company. And
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me just quickly make this contribution. I understand what you're saying, distinguished chair of the committee, because the gentleman is a consultant, and he cannot speak on behalf of the state. He cannot take decision, and that is why Parliament only attends to the chief executive, who can take decision on behalf of an organization or, in this case, the state. Because there are some questions we will ask you now. You say, okay, let me get back to you. You need to talk to your chief executive. And we don't have that time. So you should appear here with either the commissioner or the chief executive or the SSG, whoever. Then you can be given information. That should be your role here, giving whoever you come with information, who will make presentation on behalf of the state government. Thank you very much.
Just a rider to the distinguished senator. Consultant, you should know the Delta State government, for you to even come here to attempt to answer any question, there is no legal connection between what you are going to say with this committee, because there is no letter clearly indicating that you are coming from Delta State government. In spite of what my brother Senator Wonko said, you are not coming from Delta State. He said you are coming. What are your evidence that you are coming to represent Delta State on this matter? I guess maybe you are a lawyer. If you are not a lawyer, ask the lawyers around. So whatever information we are driving from you is neither here nor there. There is no legal binding on it. So if you are coming, come with a statutory appointed personality from Delta. You can speak on their behalf, but with him and with an introduction letter.
Let me add more, sir. You said pronouncing Delta as a beneficiary is a misnomer. You said something like that. I think you are very harsh. I think if you have wrongly mediated on behalf of gas companies, you will be responsible for whatever happened at the end. The purpose of this loan is clearly defined. And whoever is disbursed this loan, whether commercial bank, and you disburse to the wrong person, and the owner of the funds was just watching, the giver and the person disbursing, there must be something wrong. And I think all of us here are seated on behalf of Nigerians. Nigeria will have the mouth to talk. We are elected in the 109 constituencies of Nigeria to talk on behalf of what affects Nigerians. If a Nigerian money is disbursed and the money is collected for a purpose, and probably there are ills in it, if we don't talk, who will talk for them? I want you to know that this thing must be followed from the person disbursing to the person collecting, and the purpose of collection, and where the money is, and the intended impact must be felt by Nigerians. So it's a very serious thing, very serious. If Delta will come and collect for some people, and you give the money to the people, you and them will meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. First, we want to commend this committee for calling this gathering. Because there have been fundamental, because there have been the fundamental misconception out there in the public domain that some people just leveraged on the CBN money and stole it and went away. That is far from the truth. The truth of the matter is that as a beneficiary under this project, we had business with the commercial bank. The discussion was done at the commercial bank level, and due diligence was done, and our application was approved. And based on that application, we assessed the facility.
as an organization. I may stress you, distinguished senator, that Lee Engineering has been in the oil and gas business for 32 years with over 4,000 employees. So it's not just, a back-carrying company. This particular project is one of the outfits of Lee Engineering, and it is located in Warri, in Warri. If the committee is ready to visit the project today, we are ready for it. It's 90% complete, and it's a bid for commissioning in the first quarter of next year. In fact, we are looking forward to Mr. President coming to commission that project because it's the first of its kind in this part of the world. That is the position. And our commitment to the bank is solid. We have no business whatsoever with the CBN or the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, based on the guideline that was given to us, on the basis of which our company assessed this facility. I just thought I should make this clear. We have documented this and it has been presented to the Secretariat of this committee.
Thank you.
There is one final word I want to make, distinguished Senate Chairman. We want, because we feel, Lee Engineering feel highly scandalized the way and manner this publication came out in the public media. Because if you watch what has been going on in the media, social and others, the impression is given, oh, they have taken money from CBN, and this is a commercial transaction between Lee Engineering and the commercial bank. Of course I did. I read the
so whatever was out there that you take as being important to you was speculative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hope the media will escalate that.
Now, I want to, excuse me, you spoke as if your position was a sweeping universal. It isn't.
Speaking for Lee Engineering.
No, but you said the news out there is that the companies.
I was specific, Mr. Chairman.
No,
in respect of Lee Engineering.
In respect of Lee Engineering,
yes.
It is your word against what we see.
And it's documented with pictures. I've submitted it to the Secretariat.
Yes.
Submitted everything.
Thank you. No problem. Yes. If you say you had no business with CBN, you had no business with the ministry, but you use the guidelines provided by CBN to assess the loan, then there's no correlation. There is no correlation because you enjoyed the one-digit whatever interest rate, and you said you had no business with CBN. No. That is wrong. Anyway, that story is for another day. Contributions from Obligos, please. Well,
good afternoon. On behalf of Dangote Industries, I am Dr. Shuaibu Abdullahi. I'm the National Assembly Liaison Lead for Dangote Group. So on this matter, just like was said by Pinnacle and Lee, Dangote Industries found it surprising that it was listed in that publication. Precisely, and the truth of the matter is that the company benefited from a credit facility from a commercial bank as part financing for the Dangote refinery plant, and not for gas. So there's no gas project involved in the transaction, and the facility was granted last year, 5 billion. 5 billion is a correct figure, but not for gas, but to assist in the construction of the Dangote refinery from one of its commercial banks. Whether they related that to CBN as a gas project is a different matter, but as far as our records are concerned, 5 billion was disbursed. More than 4% has already been repaid, and is for the refinery, not for a gas project. Thank you.
Our colleague, at what rate?
Well, of course, it's the 9%.
Okay, so you enjoyed the facility.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Enough of all of this rigmarole appropriately. Thank you very much. NIPCO, you want to say something? yours is a function of res issa locator. So thank you very much. May we move for adjournment if no senator has anything to say. Okay. The distinguished Senator Nathan.